There's nothing spookier than traveling down a dark, desolate road in the middle of the night. The only lights illuminating your path are your own headlights and maybe a smattering of stars spotted through the breaks in the thick foliage above. Is that movement off in the trees to your right? You turn down your radio to focus solely on making it through this part of your drive home. The scariest part. The wind starts blowing a little harder, and the mist from the woods begins to creep over the road in front of you, forcing you to slow down just as you approach the old, dilapidated cemetery. You see what you think looks like a humanoid shadow gliding behind a headstone in your peripheral vision. But when you turn your head, it's completely empty as usual. All you see is overgrown grass and cracked tombs. You speed up, just hoping beyond hope. You get home fast. You know the legends of this road, and you're more than content to never experience it for yourself. Hi, Ghosties. I'm Macy.
That was chilling, and I'm Natalie. Hello.
And today, I thought I'd change it up because we're doing a part 2 of a topic we've covered before. We're bringing you more haunted roads.
Road.
Yes, every time I read the word road, I think of that.
That was unexpected.
Sorry, I just thought I needed something a little different.
I'm into
doing
it.
The same thing for a while, so.
It was cool.
Thank you. Well, if you want to go back to part 1, it was episode 38. We talked about a few interesting spots. All of them are creepy, and local legends are intense, and there's something I find fascinating and fun. So today's roads: Zombie Road in Wildwood, Missouri, the A229 through Bluebell Hill in England, and Demons Road in Huntsville, Texas.
Oh, I didn't know that was a thing.
Yes.
I'm excited.
All 3 of these were suggested by a few of you, so thank you. If you suggested these, thank you so much.
I am locked in.
Our tea today is also from a listener. It's Apothecary Blends Gulf Coast Breeze.
It came in a cute little glass test tube.
It's really cute. It has glitter in it too.
It does.
I'm excited.
Hopefully edible.
Hopefully edible.
No, I'm excited. It is so cute. So thank you to the person that sent this, and let's go.
What are your thoughts?
You know, it tastes better than it smelled. I thought it was not going to be good.
It did smell interesting. It is fruity and kind of refreshing.
I'm not mad at it.
I kind of like it.
Like, I am shocked. I really am. I thought I was going to be like, bleh.
Yeah.
And the little glitter is a nice added touch on the top.
Yes.
I really like it. It's cute.
So cute. So shout out to you. Also, I'm using Natalie's mug today. Mine broke. I had it in my backpack and I pulled it out and it was cracked and a whole chip came out of it. So before we get started, we have a few very serious announcements.
Hello. My name is Natalie, and I would like to sincerely apologize to all of our listeners who had to listen to me commit a horrible sin on the last episode.
This is true.
I said Garth Brooks was the singer of Neon Moon, and you all let me know, and I'm sorry.
I didn't even catch it in the episode either.
It is Brooks and Dunn. My bad.
One of the Brooks.
Hey, it was close, all right? And no, okay.
Though Garth Brooks does sing one of my favorite country songs.
Which is?
Friends in Low Places.
Oh, yeah. That's a good one.
That's an anthem.
So I know I'm being stupid, but no, like, I am embarrassed that I said it.
We're not country music listeners. We listen to country music because we're in Texas and because our grandparents listen to country music.
Duh.
But that's about the extent. Like, if we're in public, we listen to country music because that's what plays.
That's what's playing. Yeah.
But in our own private lives, I'm more of a punk kind of gal.
I'm all over the place.
And Natalie jumps around.
I do. A lot.
I mean, I do too. I like early 2000s and 90s pop. I listen to that. I listen to some hip hop occasionally, but I'm more into the alternative punk.
I would say I'm more
classic
R&B.
rock.
I listen to a lot of R&B, but not like the like that one. No, just like soulful, good music. But yeah, sorry about that. I feel stupid. Our mom texted me and was like,
Did she?
You idiot. Yeah, I mean, she didn't say you idiot, but she was like, just straight up said, it's Brooks and Dunn. And I said, I know.
I love that she texted you too. I didn't know that.
She did. It's this morning.
That's hilarious.
So yes, I'm sorry. That was my first apology video. Hopefully my last. I'm sorry to the country community.
And to the South as a whole.
I am ashamed. Also, following up from our last video, Macy is
Ravenclaw.
Yes.
I think I have said it in a previous video too.
Yeah, but a lot of people that didn't see the video, they were like really getting into it.
Between Ravenclaw and Hufflepuff.
Yes.
Which, if you would have asked me about this 12 years ago, I would have been like, oh, how dare you? But you know what? I like a Hufflepuff.
Rock on, Hufflepuff. Kayla's a Hufflepuff.
Yeah.
But yes, I am a Slytherin. Everybody, I don't know if I should take offense. Everyone was like, yeah, Slytherin.
No, some people said no. Natalie gives me Gryffindor or Hufflepuff too.
I've never given Gryffindor.
I wouldn't say so.
I don't think so.
We've had a few people now ask us about our astrological signs. They said sun and moon. I believe my sun is Leo and my moon is Taurus, I think. There you go, if you were wondering.
I don't know what I am. I'm a Virgo through and through. I think I embody Virgoism.
I just looked it up and Natalie's moon is Cancer.
Which, you know, I'm emotional.
I don't really know what any of it means, except that every time I read anything about a Leo, I don't really resonate with Leo that much for like half of the stuff.
You did when you were
about, yeah, when
younger.
I was like little.
Yeah.
When I wanted to be a pop star. But like as I've grown older, like I don't want to be in the spotlight.
Perceived.
I don't want to be the one that takes charge. I like to be a leader in the background.
Yeah.
I like to be behind the scenes taking charge.
Yeah, it's weird. I get along with a lot of Leos. You're a Leo. Ryan is a Leo. But he's a Leo, like...
Is a Leo?
Yeah.
I told someone that I worked with who was like really into astrology that I was Leo, and they were like, really? Are you sure? Are you on the cusp? And I was like, no.
Let us know what that means. All right. And what you would think Macy is. And if you could have clocked me as a Virgo. I think I am very much what I am, and people know.
I couldn't tell you, but I believe you. Moving on from our very, very important announcements. Starting just a 30-minute drive west of St. Louis, Missouri, in a small town called Wildwood, lies a trail used today by bikers and runners alike. The 2 to 3 mile path, today called Rock Hollow Trail, winds through trees and near an old railway before taking you right to Merrimack River, not far from the Glencoe City Park. It's a beautiful walk along a paved trail with trees and wilderness around you. But at night, things seem to be much different for those who trek out through those woods. The trail has another name. It's been known to some locals since at least the 1950s, long before the town of Wildwood was even established, as Zombie Road. In the 50s, it was supposedly a hotspot for teens to hang out. Many would come to these woods to drink or use the trail as a lover's lane, but rumors began to spread of a crazed man freshly escaped from an asylum who was using those woods as a hideout. He resembled a zombie in the way he walked and stalked the kids in the woods. It was said that he was on the prowl for his next victims, unsuspecting teens who were out on the trail after midnight. He lived out the rest of his days haunting those woods, and he's supposedly still there to this day. There's another version of this legend that instead claims a man with the name Zombie had actually worked at a local orphanage, but he was a sadist and absolutely evil to the children, leading to an unofficial and secret cemetery in the woods for all the children who could not escape him. His ghost, along with the spirits of those children, still haunt the trees along the path, seen and heard often late in the night.
My God.
Now, these are legends. And obviously, if it was a teen hangout, I mean, there's no proof of an asylum or an orphanage nearby.
So it could just be stories. But all right, I was with you when you said his name was Zombie, and then you started to say what he did, and I was like, oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Pretty dark stuff. But beyond these legends, there is some actual verifiable history to the area, including that it was home to the indigenous people of that part of present-day Missouri for more than 10,000 years. The path is said to have been used as a route for natives to the river. The official road was built in 1860 and called Lawler Ford Road for many years. During the Civil War, it was along a route used by soldiers from western St. Louis County to Jefferson County, and a site of strategic significance. Once the war was over, in 1868, the Glencoe Marble Company used this path while mining the limestone deposits in the area and set up a small railroad to help in their operation.
Limestone.
Tragedy struck when in 1876, now this is proven, a judge's widow, Miss Della Hamilton McCullough, was hit and killed by a passing train. The quarry was shut down in the 70s, and the trail became a dilapidated and hard-to-traverse path. There's no record of an asylum or an orphanage nearby. I already said that, but...
Oh, that's sad.
Still, a woman lost her life out there, yeah.
Yeah, so at least one confirmed passing. Confirmed. At least, the one.
For years, people have reported strange occurrences while out on the trail. Cold spots can be felt along the path at random. The ghosts of Native Americans, Confederate soldiers, industrial workers, and of course children have been seen walking the trail and through the trees. I read one account of a group of teens claiming to see faces in the trees while out one night.
In the trees or like through the trees on the ground?
It wasn't clear, it just said in the trees. So I would assume through the trees, like...
Okay.
Not from above, because like... That's a bird.
I mean, that was freaking me out. Maybe. People can climb.
Ooh, I hate that. I hate that so much. Thank you. Some even believe it to be cursed land, a supposed ancient Native American burial ground disturbed by all the digging. I'm going to let you all guess whether that is proven or not.
No.
Everywhere is a ancient Native American burial ground. That is like the default.
Yes.
Which is a little weird.
It's a little weird, and they used to say that about our elementary school.
I think about everyone's elementary school.
Yeah, probably not true. If you've heard that, it's probably false.
Shadowy figures and strange noises are abound here. The place has so much lore that a pair of filmmakers, the Booth brothers, featured Zombie Road in a documentary titled Children of the Grave. In this movie, they claimed to capture a photo of something they hadn't noticed until after their investigation and filming was done.
I thought you were going to say Children of the Corn. I was like, no way.
No.
Okay.
It showed trees full of children. A shadow's nest of children, as they called it. And I will show you the picture.
Oh, no.
Okay, turn the brightness up and
okay. I'm
reveal
scared.
themselves. So they claimed in the movie that this is what they captured while taking photos out there.
Do we believe them?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know them, but it is really scary if that's true.
I don't want to believe them. Oh, the way they're all just lined up. Like, what are they? Are they just watching or are they like waiting for them to make a move?
I don't know.
So they can make their move.
Yeah, I don't know. But either way, I hate it. After the documentary aired in 2007, the number of After Dark visitors to the trail, especially teens, ramped up. In 2010, Great Rivers Greenway, a regional trail building agency, updated the bumpy and sometimes impassable forest path, paving it and taking away a little bit of the spooky factor because they thought, well, you know, it is kind of scary out here. It's just kind of a dirt path and trees fallen and there's, I don't know, it just looks spooky. They're like, well, if we pave it and make it look more modern and nice, then maybe people won't be as interested.
That is true, honestly. That does take away from like the spookiness of it because it's like, oh, humans are here.
Yeah.
You know, humans kind of take away the fun of everything.
Yeah, sometimes, yeah. Eventually, the park was officially closed after dark and police patrolled the path, writing citations with heavy fines for trespassers. So if you live there, do not go out at night. Not only could you experience the paranormal, that by all accounts isn't too friendly, you could possibly be out several $100, like up to $1,000.
Just for for
trespassing out at night, yeah.
That's crazy.
I read several people's accounts that were like, I tried, and yeah, me and all my friends got citations. They just like wait. They lie in wait, the police do.
You know what?
One part of me is like, yeah, it might be a little dangerous at night. If predators, no, a bunch of teens are going out into the dark night and trail. That is true. Like, yes, you don't want your kids out there at night. They should probably stay home. But on the other hand, let kids be kids.
Let the kids have something. Let them be dumb.
We need more third spaces,
right?
Preferably paranormal third spaces.
No. No.
One woman, Alex Matuszek, claimed to have had an encounter of her own back in 2013. After a day of horseback riding, she decided to go on a walk down Zombie Road, close to dark, with her aunt who was visiting from out of town. The two women got a ways down the trail when she began to get the chills from a pocket of cold air. Just as suddenly, they heard a high-pitched squeal that sounded as if it belonged to a young girl or a teen and felt a sharp pain on her leg. The two women raced home to find Alex had bloody scratches up and down her leg closest to the woods. The strangest part was that she was wearing pants and riding chaps, and neither one of them had a tear or a scratch or anything on either layer of clothes.
How would you justify that to yourself? If your clothes weren't ripped, you don't remember stepping in anything.
And we've had a few, like even a listener story where they just suddenly have a sharp pain like on their back.
Yeah.
And then there's scratches that appeared from nowhere. I don't know. My mind would be like, oh, maybe I did this earlier and I didn't know.
For sure.
I don't know. But either way, that's scary. So go to Zombie Road, but not at night, and don't get a ticket. Next, we're taking a trip across the ocean to the UK. On Chalk Hill between the towns of Maidstone and Rochester in the English county of Kent sits a little village called Bluebell Hill.
Love.
Me too. It's cute. There's a road that runs through the village, the A229, the main road linking Medway and Maidstone, and it's known as one of the most haunted roads in England. It's home to the ghost of Bluebell Hill. The ghostly image of a woman or young girl has been seen by many who make their way through Bluebell Hill, and she's been seen for decades.
I don't know why I knew it was going to be a woman. When you said Bluebell Hill, I was like, yeah, lady.
Has to be a lady.
A lady's there.
It's just your instincts, I guess.
That's weird.
That is weird, because you've never heard of this, yes?
No.
There are two possible events that could explain the paranormal activity along this stretch. The first originating from an unsolved murder of a young woman in 1916. Emily Trigg was a 20-year-old woman working as a servant in Rochester when she went to visit her mother in Bluebell Hill in August of 1916. That was the last time she was seen alive. Now, this next part is a little gruesome, so I don't know why I'm looking at you. Skip a minute or so if you prefer not to hear about true crime. It's probably just like a minute or two. But a report from the Lancashire Evening Post on the 12th of October that same year read, "Skeleton in a wood, gag used on the victim. Open verdict at inquest on servant." The mystery of the death of Emily Trigg, the 20-year-old servant girl whose skeleton was found in the Bridgewood near Rochester by a blackberrying party on the 21st September, is still unsolved. No evidence as to how the girl met her death was forthcoming at the resumed inquest yesterday, and the jury could only return an open verdict. It was stated when the inquest was opened that a young woman had been seen walking up Bluebell Hill with a soldier 6 weeks before her body was discovered. Yesterday, the girl's mistress, Miss Cooper of Rochester, said that one evening in July, a strange soldier accompanied the girl home, but Trigg seemed glad to get away from him, and she did not think that the girl had seen him again. Additional evidence was given by Superintendent Rhodes, who produced a piece of linen which he removed from the girl's jaw. A fragment of bone, he said, came away with it, indicating that it had been stuffed deeply down her throat. This piece of linen was found to be a portion of Trigg's underclothing, and another portion of the same garment was discovered with other articles in a thicket on the other side of the Maidstone Road, opposite to the wood in which the body was found. Owing to the absence of any tissue on the bones, doctors were unable to state the cause of death. The coroner said that the evidence pointed to one thing, but it was as well at present not to speculate, and the jury therefore returned a verdict of, quote, found dead.
That makes me so sad.
Very sad. Later that month, an artilleryman named Charles Hicks was charged on suspicion with being associated with her death and was brought before the district magistrates. It was determined that there was not enough evidence and he was discharged. It was a terrible fate for a sweet young girl, and to my knowledge, never officially solved.
I hate that. Do we know if they, kept stuff? Can it be solved? It was a long time
They don't
ago.
even know her cause of death. I don't know if they even kept anything in the way of DNA or anything like that.
I mean, because there are cases that you hear from back then that they preserved it really well because they knew technology was going to get somewhere.
Yeah, I don't know what they were doing in the way of preservation in 1916.
Probably nothing.
I don't know. I do find it very interesting. Sorry, little true crime side tangent. How they are doing the DNA and stuff, and linking genealogical DNA and stuff.
Me too.
There are websites that you can submit your DNA just for study and finding crimes.
Very cool.
I kind of want to do it.
Yeah, I would do it. It's so cool. I saw a TikTok of a woman that said she did 23andMe or whatever and selected the box yeah, sure, use it, whatever. And they called her because they found a woman that was her however many number cousin or whatever, and they never knew who she was until that.
Right then?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. I know. That's crazy.
I know. It makes me so emotional because I get really weird and sad about the people that never get
identified
found
and their family doesn't know where they are and things like that. Yeah. Me too.
I think about it a lot.
Those are the hardest cases for me to listen to.
And then I get angry thinking about the person that did it and how they just got to go and live life the rest of the way.
I hope with all of my heart that they found hardship.
Yeah.
Maybe more.
Okay.
Sorry.
Me too.
So
I would not expect you to say that. That sounded like me.
Well, I mean, I don't wish death and destruction upon people.
No, but harm.
But hardship, yeah.
Oh.
Great struggle, maybe harm if necessary. Yes.
Okay.
Especially people who are doing horrible, horrible things.
Rock on. Anyway,
also,
ghosts.
I don't know. This year has made me angrier.
Me too.
Anyway, this isn't the only tragedy associated with the area. On the night of November 19th, 1965, another unimaginable horror occurred on the A229. 22-year-old Suzanne Brown was returning with 3 of her friends from her hen party and was set to marry her fiancé the next morning. The Ford Cantina the girls were driving spun out of control and into an oncoming Jaguar as they neared the bridge. Judith Lingham was dead on the scene. Suzanne and Patricia passed a few days later in the hospital, and the final friend spent months in the hospital but ultimately survived.
That's horrible.
Horrible. Sightings along this road began not long after. The first report I could find occurred in 1969 when a man claimed to see 2 pedestrians walking toward him along the road and then suddenly disappeared. He later saw the same figures, but as they walked across the street, a car passed right through them. He was obviously shocked.
That would make me freak out.
I just imagine in cartoon, the image of
rubbing your eyes. Yeah.
Another man, James Skeen, was driving home from work in 1971 when he said a young girl who looked to be in her early 20s appeared right in front of him. He stopped and she asked for a ride to her home in Chatham. He obliged, but as she got out of his car when he arrived at her destination, he claimed that she just vanished into thin air.
Dude.
He gave her a ride all the way to where she needed to go and just gone.
As soon as that door shuts, car is in drive, and I'm driving to the hospital. And I'm checking myself
check my
in,
brain.
and y'all won't hear from me for a while. I would not be, that would break me.
I would be very scared. Very scared. In 1972, Bob Vanderpeer was driving along this same stretch of road when he came across the hitchhiking woman. Not knowing the legends, he offered her a ride and noticed she had a distant expression and a pale complexion. As he drove along, he began to feel uneasy and turned to check on his passenger. She had disappeared. She was no longer in the car, though the doors had never opened. Those hitchhiking ghost stories get me every time.
They always confuse me, though, because how are you having a full interaction? It's getting in the car.
I don't know. And I've read a lot of stories.
Yeah.
With hitchhiking and having conversations with the person that isn't really there.
Yes. I would be into like the conversation thing.
What was it? It was like the Guardian Angel episode, the third man factor in Guardian Angels, where like someone rescued them up the side of a mountain on a trail or something, and then he was just gone. Like she felt him push her up, and then he just disappeared. The two friends both saw him.
It's so, I don't know, unexplainable.
So weird. Again, in 1974, a man named Maurice Goodenough, it claimed to experience something beyond strange along that road.
Good enough?
Good enough.
What a great last name.
I do like it. Maurice, a bricklayer from Rochester, was driving through Bluebell Hill when he said a young girl, quote, just walked out in front of me from the edge of the road. He said he hit her and the sound of the impact was loud and sickening. He slammed on his brakes and jumped out of his car to see the girl lying on the ground with a cut on her forehead and both of her knees reddened. He covered her with a blanket as he tried to wave down help, but nobody stopped. He didn't want to move her in case to like injure her worse. So he raced off to the nearest police station to alert them of what happened. When he and the police returned to the scene, the blanket was still on the ground, but the girl was gone. They searched the area, but never found anyone or anything indicating she was there. Matching her description, nothing. Not in the woods, not in nearby hospitals. They checked there too. It was like she never existed. But Maurice insisted he knew what he saw and heard.
That's a huge fear of mine, hitting a pedestrian. I don't know why it's such a huge fear of mine. His car didn't have any like dents or anything. Nothing. What if it did?
Oh, that would be even creepier. Sightings continued on for years, with people seeing a woman along this road often, though she disappears just as suddenly as she appears. Another frightening event occurred in 1992 when a coach driver named Ian Sharp struck a woman on the A229 after she leapt right out in front of him, looking him in the eyes the entire time. The force of the hit was immense, and Sharp jumped out of his vehicle fearing the worst when he bent down to look underneath the car. To his surprise, however, he saw clear all the way through. The girl he had hit was gone. He was quoted in The Sun as saying, quote, I honestly thought I'd killed her. You can't imagine how it felt. I was so scared to look underneath, but I knelt and looked straight through. There was nothing there.
That just gave me a really scary image.
Eye contact the whole time. She just jumped into the street.
What if when he looked under there, she was there and she like, and like jumped out?
Natalie.
That's what I was like envisioning.
Oh, I hate that so much.
I'd be too scared to look.
Sightings like this still occur to this day. The most recent of these wild stories out of Bluebell Hill happened in 2019 when a heavy snowstorm hit the area. Hundreds of vehicles were left stranded at a standstill out on the A229, and people were taking photos of the insanity for their social media and, news and whatever. One photo, however, sticks out, as on the side of the road, silhouetted in the light of oncoming vehicles, looks like a figure of a person standing on the side of the road. Was this a trick of the light or the ghost of Bluebell Hill?
Do we have the picture?
I have the photo.
Oh my goodness.
Now, some people say that maybe it's just like a street sign that's kind of distorted from
human
snow
shaped
and all that. But yeah, isn't that a little weird?
That is very strange. Also, I don't know why I wasn't expecting it to be like a modern road.
Well, I guess because it's like an old village.
Yeah, but like
No, it's like a highway.
Seeing normal modern cars, I'm like, wait a minute.
Does it take you out of it a little?
A little bit. But that's so spooky. And also, if people thought it was a street sign, go to that part of the road and see if there's a street sign there. And if there's not, what else is it?
Well, I mean, I don't know. I don't know what the person who took the picture had to say about it. Either way, a little spooky.
I would like to say, whenever people post things like that, like fake ghost things, I'm like, what are you gaining from that?
Attention.
I guess, but it's just like,
what about the post I sent you from Reddit the other day with the two girls?
I hated it.
So I didn't realize it had two pictures, and they were like, tell me if I'm going crazy. Like, do y'all see this too? And I clicked it and I zoomed and I was like, what are they even talking about? And then I realized it was two, and I swiped over and I literally dropped my phone.
It scared me so bad. I was in broad daylight.
I'll post it up here for y'all too.
In the office at my job, I looked behind me as if someone was gonna be there. I got scared.
So scary.
Stupid. What do you gain from just lying?
I know. It bothers me. It irritates me because I'm out for the truth. Even if it's a spooky story and eventually you find out later that it's not, like, at least you had a good journey,
Yeah.
Like, why are you faking things?
I don't
Why are you making things up? Okay, so this next one. The last road on our little haunted road trip resides in East Texas in a town called Huntsville. It is home to Sam Houston State University, a Texas state penitentiary, and a giant statue of Sam Houston, the first and third president of the Republic of Texas. So if you've ever driven on 45 up like from Houston to Dallas, it's like on the side of the road. You can't miss it.
It's huge.
Huge.
Okay. I was always like, why?
It's commemorating him because he was, I don't know. They've got a whole museum and stuff in Huntsville for him.
Yeah.
He lived there for a time.
Huntsville to me has always felt off. I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
Every time I've been there, and we've been there a ton of times, I just feel unsettled.
I agree. And I thought it was just me, and I thought I was just a weirdo.
No.
But yeah, every time I go to Huntsville, something's not right here.
Because Kayla, our sister, she went to Sam Houston. Like, I went to the university a couple times because she was graduating. She was like picking up stuff.
Yeah.
I just was like,
I did a horticulture competition at Sam Houston.
All right.
I got last place because I filled out my card backwards. So like it listed all the things, and I thought it went the way that I was going, but it went the other way. Like you had to answer questions and do all this stuff.
That's sad.
Yeah, I got dead last. It was really sad.
It is really sad. But yeah, Huntsville to me just has a strange energy about it.
It's got a vibe for sure. If you've ever been to Huntsville and you know what we're talking about, let us know. Anyway, back to this road here. But on the outskirts of all of this is a country road in the middle of nowhere with a name that evokes fear in the hearts of locals and visitors. Demon's Road, aka Bowden Road. So it's really named Bowden Road, but is a winding road with nothing but offshoots of dirt roads on a path to an old cemetery.
Oh, of course.
It's surrounded by trees and wilderness, isolated and quiet, away from the events of town. Ghosts, creatures, and maybe even demons call it home. We'll start at Martha's Chapel Cemetery. The cemetery is a historic landmark and one of the only indicators that a bustling little Methodist town was placed here many years ago. The marker plaque tells a brief history of the plot, and I'll just go ahead and read that real quick. Robinson's settlement became a stronghold for Methodist activity in southeast Texas in the early 1830s. By 1839, a campground, church, and school were established here on land given by William and Elizabeth Robinson to the Reverend Littleton Fowler, superintendent of Methodism in the Republic of Texas. Early clergy who visited and served here included Isaac Strickland, Jesse Hord, Joseph P. Sneed, and Bishop Thomas A. Morris. The Fourth Texas Methodist Conference met here in 1843 with Bishop James O. Andrew presiding. The church and the area became known as Martha's Chapel in 1854 after Martha Palmer, wife of a church trustee, died and was buried behind the church building. During the pastorate of the Reverend James G. Johnson, 1812 to 1887, it was also referred to as Johnson's Chapel. At his death, Johnson bequeathed funds to complete the construction of the third and last place of worship at this site. It was dedicated on October 18, 1887 by Bishop W. W. Duncan. Although the congregation disbanded in the 1930s, ending a century of Methodism in the area, the Martha's Chapel Cemetery remains as a reminder of the area's pioneer heritage.
Period.
Okay.
Some interesting names in there. That's what I gathered.
Sure are. The cemetery is just what you'd expect an old cemetery in the middle of the woods to be. In fact, one visitor described it as, quote, Little House on the Prairie meets Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Good God.
So it's got vibes.
You know, that's very Huntsville.
It is. It's ill-advised to visit at night because of the reports of inhuman forms in the trees and ghostly whispers in the air, and the occasional hand reaching up from the grave. Someone said it's not a Ghosteas pod until we hear the Hank Hill scream. So good.
I will be stopping.
We need Hank Hill merch.
Imagine. No.
One legend tells of a man in 2001 hearing about Demon's Road and Martha's Chapel Cemetery and talking a friend into making the drive from Houston to see it for themselves. So one night after work, they hopped into the car and made the 70-mile drive to Huntsville to get their supernatural thrills. They finally made it to Demon's Road, and almost immediately he felt a sense of unease wash over him. He looked over at his friend to see if he could feel it too, but his friend was fast asleep. He pulled into the old cemetery. Instead of waking his friend, he decided it would be best to let him rest and to explore this a little bit on his own. So he got out of the car and made his way from grave to grave, taking in all the words on each grave and trying to ignore the part of him that was practically screaming for him to turn back and go home. He made his way up to a grave that was hard to read, so he leaned in a little closer with his flashlight, but he began to feel rustling down by his feet. His heart leapt. But thinking it must be some kind of animal, he tried to breathe and look down. What he saw was no animal. Instead, it was a hand reaching out of the grave and grasping at his pant leg. The man screamed and tried to jump back, but the hand had a tight grip on him and was attempting to latch onto his leg. He kicked at it, but nothing. He attempted to pry its fingers from him, but instead it grabbed onto his arm and began pulling him down further and further, as if trying to yank him down into the depths of hell. He panicked and screamed for help when he felt someone pulling on him from behind. When he looked up, it was his friend. He must have heard him struggling from the car and came to help. Together, they are able to free him and stomp the hand back down into the dirt. His friend told him that he needed to get out of there fast. That's when he sees someone else behind his friend, standing there, staring at him. The man standing behind his friend was like an identical twin to the man. But instead of the hurried worry that was across his friend's face, this man had a smile that just didn't look quite right. He yelled for his friend to run and race back to the car himself. He jumped into the vehicle and started it up, but when he looked to the passenger seat, there was his friend, still sleeping. So he peeled out of the cemetery and sped down Demon's Road, not looking into his rearview mirror once. When he was finally able to catch his breath, he attempted to wake his friend. That's when he realized he wasn't breathing. His friend had had a heart attack and passed away that night in the car. A roller coaster of a story.
My God. It just kept going every different direction. Like, I always hate things when anything is like smiling.
Yes.
For no reason.
Me too. Now that's one version of the legend.
That just like made my whole body sweat, but also get chills at the same time.
Was his friend's spirit there to help him? And the demon or whatever it was took the form of his friend to like try and trick him and call him back to the grave? Or?
I don't know, but I don't like it.
At least his friend was there too.
His friend died.
But he saved him, like he saved him from being pulled down into the grave.
That's horrible.
So scary.
Oh my God.
I mean, now this is a legend. This isn't proven. This is just one of the stories from Martha's Chapel Cemetery.
Yeah, a scary one.
Very, very. One of the scariest. Aside from the haunted cemetery, there have been strange and sometimes unexplainable phenomenon happening here for years. Many have reported handprints appearing on their vehicles that weren't there before, and there have been reports of occult activity in and around the cemetery. Some also said that it was weird groups, not necessarily the occult, but like I read even one story that said the KKK were doing like rituals.
You know, that's what I was about to say.
Yeah.
And I don't know where I've heard that or why that idea was in my head.
You're really picking up on a lot of stuff before I talk about it.
Yeah, I don't know. Huntsville to me has always just felt weird. And I never felt
safe.
Not safe. Yeah, I guess safe, but I don't like going to Huntsville. Even the Olive Garden sucks. You know?
I don't remember. It's been like many, many years since I've had Huntsville Olive Garden. So
I mean, me too. I could be lying. It was several years ago, but I just don't. Sorry to all the Huntsvillians. I don't know.
Maybe it is a paranormal feeling.
It's unease.
Like maybe there's just a lot there.
Maybe.
But anyway, aside from that, some claim to have seen cloaked figures standing in a circle, seemingly summoning something, or maybe even calling upon something that already calls this area home. A faceless monster has been spotted along the road and through the trees a number of times by visitors and locals. This creature stalks drivers along the road, standing along the tree line, just watching and waiting. Most stories claim that if you leave it alone and just ignore it, then you should be fine. It can't go beyond the bounds of Demon's Road, but if you make the mistake of stopping, calling out to it, or drawing attention to it, then it will charge at you, and you better hope that you make it out before it reaches you in your car.
Why would you do that?
Some who have been able to get a good look at the creature claim it is pale white with lizard-like skin. It crawls on all fours and gives all who encounter it the sickening feeling of danger.
It's a chupacabra. I don't even know what that is. I just know it's a Texas or like a southern.
Like Mexico, Texas, something.
Yeah.
There are also strange red lights witnessed by many who drive the road between midnight and 4 a.m. Typically, the number of lights that appear is the same number of occupants in the car, and they, like the faceless creature, follow you along the road. If you look directly at them, they have been known to charge at you, causing temporary amnesia of anything that occurs from the moment the lights hit you until you find yourself leaving Demon's Road.
Is it Alien?
That, I was about to say, that gives me Aliens. Like, maybe I'm just still stuck on Skinwalker Ranch.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what it felt like to me too.
Very peculiar.
The encounters that seem to give Demon's Road its name might be the boy on the tricycle. Some who drive slowly and even walk, those who are brave enough to walk along Demon's Road at night, have claimed to see a young boy, no older than 6 or 7, riding down the road at night on a little tricycle. Some have described him as having glowing eyes. Others claim they are all black. He is sometimes accompanied with the sounds of soft giggles and whispering voices. He simply stares at you until he disappears into the fog. Though it's said if he, as he gazes into your soul, sees any great sins or crimes so vile, then he will follow you home and suffocate you until he pulls your spirit to hell with him. Is this the spirit of a child, a black-eyed kid, or something much worse, a demon disguised as a child? This one's dark.
Hey, triple whammy. I don't know.
Someone said, oh, look in Demon's Road, and I was like, oh wow, I didn't know this was here. I've been to Huntsville before, you know? And it was just like hit after hit of like, what is happening here?
I won't be going back.
He isn't the only entity that will follow you home. Many have claimed to experience something almost always malevolent, sticking with them even after they've left those strange woods. Attachments and even possessions that will feed off of your energy and fear, causing mental distress and leading some to the hospital for treatment. It's advised to never go with the intention of contacting whatever lies in those woods. Never try to provoke or invoke the spirits of Demon's Road, because you never know what has decided to call this place home. Now,
Would you go?
In the daytime, I think.
Oh.
I don't know. I'd have to really be convinced. Because some of these stories are just a little outlandish and they just feel like urban legends.
But
I also would go into any situation like this with nothing but love and light and no intention to actually make contact with anything.
No.
Like, I'll leave you be. If you want to show yourself to me, then like, hello. But like, I'm not going to reach out and say, hey, talk to me, you. You know, like some investigators will do. I'd like to just observe.
Yeah. Have someone observe for me. Show me the footage later. I don't want to see.
Comment if you want us to go to Demon's Road. Okay, so I've got 3 stories that I found of people experiencing things on Demon's Road. My boyfriend and I actually just got out of the cemetery. He's been here a handful of times, and this was my first time. We got there at midnight. At one point, he was to the right of me looking at a grave on the opposite side of a tree, and I heard someone running directly behind me like they were running past me. I looked back and nothing was there. Later, I saw a green orb over a grave for a split second. Then, when we decided to head back to the front, I heard growling coming from the gate. It sounded like an animal, but we didn't see anything. I then saw a red orb on the fence right after. When we got back in the car, I was reading that the spirits have been known for handprints on cars. Well, we have one on our back windshield. Looks like an adult male handprint. We put our hands up close to it to see if it was one of ours, but no, it's bigger. Came here with 2 friends. We decided to sit in the car in front of the cemetery just to see if anything happened. We were too scared to get out of the car, but nothing was going on. And then all of a sudden, my friend blurted out, I guess these demons are little bitches. I immediately felt sick to my stomach, and I told my friend they shouldn't have said that because we knew we were not safe. You could feel the energy shift, and all of a sudden, I see it.
No.
I saw a tall, dark shadow on all 4s and then suddenly stood up and was circling the car so freaking fast. I was panicking and yelling at my other friend to drive and get us out of there. You could just see the shadow so clearly. And each time it circled us, you could see the lights of the car flashing on whatever the shadow or demon was. Thankfully, my friend acted fast in getting us out of there because I don't know what else would have happened had we stuck around, but it was so terrifying. Just don't challenge them and just be respectful unless you want to have a horrifying experience. Needless to say, it will never leave my mind.
And mine too. Thank you.
Last story. I have a buddy that goes to SHSU who invited me to visit the cemetery along with another mutual friend. He had been several times already with other people and said he had experiences every time. We began driving up the road at about 10:30, 11 p.m. and go slow as to catch anything paranormal on the way there. I had my window, passenger, rolled down halfway to help see and hear better. And below the opening, I felt a cold spot. I immediately felt a presence sitting in the back seat behind me, which was unoccupied. The cold spot went away as a small handprint or footprint, seemed to be longer than a hand, formed on the inside of the car. When we began exploring the cemetery, there were obvious temperature drops in several instances. Several times, all 3 of us would simultaneously react to something unexplainable, such as a brush against our leg or even a foot against getting stepped on. As we were thinking about leaving, one of my friends tried to provoke the spirits by snapping a stick into 2 pieces and throwing them in the direction of a spot that we had heard lots of noise from, then proceeding to ask for them back.
No.
When nothing happened, we started walking out of the gate area, and he whipped around to me and told me to stop tugging at his arm. But I was about 6 feet behind him. By the gate, there was a leaf on a tree that spun furiously as if being blown by a breeze when the air was completely dead. I started recording video of the leaf and it would start and stop spinning intermittently, which made no sense since the similar leaves around it had 0 motion. As one of my friends was checking around the leaf for a breeze, we all turned in the same direction of a small noise. Pausing for a moment, we began to ask each other what the heck that was, but were stopped short by an extremely loud snapping of a branch within 2 feet of where we were standing. There was no one around us at the time, and there was no indication of an animal or anything else that could have made that noise, especially since an animal big enough to snap a branch that loud would have been very noticeable. Curious, we checked the spot where my friend had thrown the 2 parts of the stick, and one part was completely gone. No one had been in the area, and we had thrown both parts nearly on top of each other, and with not much force, so there was not much place for it to go. As we were leaving, again, my 2 friends both said they saw a tall, dark figure in the distance that I couldn't see, but both described it the exact same. On the way back down the road, once again, windows down, we heard a very prominent clopping sound, as if a horse was following the car very closely, and on the gravel road, which was not that wide. We stopped the car completely and the noise stopped a few seconds after we stopped, ruling out the car as the source. We started moving again and the noise followed us for another 10 seconds before fading out. The consistent paranormal encounters that my friend experienced here, as well as my own personal experiences, leads me to believe that this may be one of the most actively haunted locations in Texas. If you choose to visit, come curious but respectful. Do not insult or provoke spirits. Be careful not to step on or knock over headstones or walk over where they may lie. Do not come with a large group of friends to talk and laugh loudly. If not for the spirits, for the other people there. Trust me, it's annoying. And it would be my recommendation to not challenge the spirits to manipulate objects around you, as it will lead to more aggressive experiences that might prove dangerous. However, as of October 2020, this area is 100% public property and free to anyone who is brave and curious enough.
I don't like that it was so recent.
Yeah.
2020.
Yeah, just a few years ago.
Oh no.
5 years ago.
Oh, that's crazy. That's the scariest thing we've said all episode.
Yeah. Those are some haunted roads.
I don't like haunted roads.
No, me neither.
Because I already don't like driving.
It is scary to drive at night, and especially in the woods. And like the intro was just my fears come to life. Like, did something just move over there? Did I see something off to the side? Am I hearing something that doesn't belong to my car?
That's exactly why you just turn up the radio. Again,
not at night anyway.
Again, don't follow my car advice. Please don't ever.
Well, let us know if you've ever been to any haunted roads, or if you have a road in your area that's known for something spooky, you could send it in. Would you go to any of these places?
Maybe.
Like this video if you liked it. Share it with your friends if you feel compelled to do so, and subscribe for more. We've got a listener stories coming on Thursday. If you're on audio, please give us 5 stars. That would be very helpful. And if you'd like to keep up with us on social media, you can follow us on Instagram at Ghosteas Pod. If you have a story of your own that you'd like to send in to us for a listener stories episode, you can email it to us at ghostespod@gmail.com. It's also written in the description down below, so you can check that out.
If you've made it this far, leave a car emoji.
We'll see ya.
Goodbye.